Hey everyone, I'm going to talk about uh, some issues that we had with graphs and discuss what I expect in this next assignment. So let's say I go and find a paper, and I'm going to go ahead and put an x-axis here. Is going to be the year, and let's say the paper correlates year and carbon dioxide content. Let's put it in ppm or whatever it's going, carbon dioxide. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of say, let's say the first year is 1990. Now, if I want to go to the year 2020, what I would do is move up. See this little square here in the bottom right hand side? I can grab that square and drag it down. And then I can actually hit fill series. So I hit that little drop down arrow and it fills the series and it takes us to 2018, 2020. That's a really fast way to add one to something, is using that fill series. Now, I'm not going to do all those years because this would be a really long thing, but well, let's just say, and again, I'm making it up, that this was 250, and let's say the next year was 255, and then it continued to add 5 to it, and I'm just going to drag it down here. And this is obviously false information. Again, this is just to show you how to do a graph. So let's say I get all this information and I want to plot it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. And I want to insert, over here I go to charts, and I want to insert a scatter chart. Now a lot of people use this line graph over here. You want to enter a scatter one without any lines. You want to show the relationships between those two sets of data, but you don't want to show that they're always linked. The reason for that is what happens if in this year, for example, I'm going to go to 2003, what happens if that year is an anomaly and it's like 340? Obviously that's going to shift it all. Go here. Okay, so now we've got this anomaly right here, right? You don't want to have a line going through each of these points, which says that this is definitely what happened at this given time, is that it went up and it went down, yada, yada, yada. That's what the line ends up telling you. What you want is for it to recognize general trends. And so in recognizing general trends, I should probably go back over here and redo this. I didn't do a very good job there. There we go. In recognizing general trends, you're going to be better off and not state that you have more information than you do. Okay, now the next thing that you want to do is actually to change the format of this thing. So I don't even know where it is. Review data, because I very rarely ever do this. Probably design. There we go. So you want to find something that's going to go ahead and have an XY title. So I'm going to go to quick layout over here. I'm going to choose layout 1. Layout 1 looks good. I don't need this series thing over here. I can delete that. And then again, my x-axis title is going to be year, and my y-axis title is going to be carbon. Let's go ahead and make it atmosphere, carbon dioxide, because you want to be specific sometimes, and that's in ppm. You want to be specific so people aren't wondering whether or not that's the ocean. Now the title, a lot of times people put carbon dioxide versus year as a title. You want to do something that's going to be explicit in what you studied. Don't be afraid to write a decent title, because ultimately when you look through papers in your future, you're going to look directly at the chart and you're going to want to figure out what's going on in that particular thing without having to read all the text around it. So let's say this is in the country. Let's say I was trying to professor gold made up country data on carbon dioxide by year. Obviously, I just kind of made this up on the fly, but if I spent some more time thinking and I didn't think about me being recorded right now, I probably would have come up with something even better. But my ultimate goal here is that you understand that you'd want to put something that's a little more detailed. Okay, so now you want to add a trend line. So I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to add a trend line. You want to make sure to have the equation and the R squared displayed, and then you can go ahead and close out of it. Now, some people left it right there. Don't forget that you can actually move it over. All right, another thing that maybe is worth talking about is what this R squared means. Recognize that if it's close to 0, so an R squared is always going to be between 0 and 1. If it's close to 0, that means that there's no correlation at all, that these data points are just totally randomized. The closer this number gets to 1, that tells you that it's more correlated. So as at a R squared of 0.99, that's pretty close to 1. This is pretty darn correlated. Of course, you can go through in the future and do a t-test and see if you need to keep that data point or not. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Now, here's another thing a lot of people did. If I were to submit this paper right now, it would split this graph up into 2 pages. Why? Because if I go to File, let's say I want to print, see this one? This is the first page, and then if you scroll down, this is the second page. So when you turn it in, this is what I see. So I'm like, okay, wait, what happened? And I got to go up and down and up and down and try to grade your paper. So what you want to do is just knowing that in this print preview here, where this blank space is, let's go ahead and take advantage of that, and let's move this down there. So now when we go to File, Print Preview, oops, well, that's going to be real pretty because I have it highlighted. Sorry. So when you highlight it, it will only print that. And now see how I have the data and this graph on one page? Please do that instead of having it separated into 2 pages. I think some people were emailing me saying they didn't know what's going on, and now after grading them, I realized that that's probably what was going on. All right, cool. So this is all grand, but what does this even mean? What is the point of an equation of the line, etc.? So I'm actually going to pause this video and I'm going to take this to paper. Our R squared right now is, or our equation of the line is y equals 4.9798x minus 9658.8. So again, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to take it to paper, and I'll see you in a few minutes.